The Mass Stack NT from BSN. Available now.
This is Dave Palumbo with RxMuscle.com. I'm here at the 2010 IFBB Phoenix Pro Show. I'm here with Big Sean Andros, and we're going to wrap up the finals tonight. What a show it was. Melvin Anthony redeems himself and wins this show unexpectedly. A lot of people will call him the X-Man, the number one guy. Personally, you and I didn't feel he was in the best shape, but we thought he was still going to get the nod. What do you think made the judges go for Melvin?
Yeah, I thought Tony at 90% was good enough to win, but Melvin brought a good package. He was in shape, which he sometimes isn't. And, just his presentation was amazing. I still had him in third, but so I don't really know what to say about the placing.
Melvin actually dried out tonight. He looked fantastic. His posing routine is always phenomenal. It really was a very good Melvin Anthony. He's got the smallest waist on stage. He knows how to hide his weaknesses, show his strengths. This is a guy who delivered on the promise that he was going to win. And he said he heard us talking about him on the previews, and it really motivated him.
Yeah, no, he's always criticized for not getting in that total 100% condition, not bringing the glutes in, and he brought it today, and they rewarded him.
Some guys, talking about second place Hide Yamagishi, this guy came out of nowhere. No one expected him in this top three. And, a lot of people said when they saw him tonight, they thought maybe he could have won the show. What do you think?
Yeah, he was good this morning, but, everybody was talking about him tonight. He hit that most muscular at the end of his routine, and he was just peeled.
No one thought that you could possibly have a good Asian bodybuilder that would be able to have the mass to stand with some of these top guys. Here you got a guy who almost won his first pro show tonight.
On Arx Muscle, we believe any nationality can achieve anything.
No, Hide is a true testament to hard work, pays off. But let's talk about the X-Man. I was talking to head judge John Suman, and he said, you know what? When Tony Freeman started sweating on stage profusely, I think they realized that he wasn't in shape, and that gave them, in their mind, the nod to push up Melvin.
Yeah, he got a hell of a lot better when he started sweating, but he just wasn't there.
When you're not in shape, however, you sweat. When you're in shape and you're dry and hard, the water doesn't come out of you like that. I think Tony has to go back and really rethink what he's going to do for the Arnold in 2 weeks, because if he doesn't take it down 5 to 7 pounds, I think he's going to be in trouble.
He's got 2 weeks, but he's got some work to do.
Let's face it, the guy's got a beautiful shape. He's got beautiful round muscle bellies. He's the biggest guy on the stage by far. He looks a lot bigger than he even is on stage. All he's got to do is bring in the conditioning. When I used to work with him, I used to tell him that over and over. Don't worry about your weight. It's about conditioning.
Yeah, ironically, I think the last time he was in shape was when you worked with him.
I think he needs someone to crack a whip. I've told him that before. Sometimes he likes coming in big because he's always in shape from the front. It's what those glutes and hamstrings really have to suffer to get dry.
He was big when he was in shape. He's always big, and he's never gonna look small.
Let's see if Tony brings it to the Arnold. Both those three guys qualify for the Olympia. Fourth place, Gregory Atoyan. What a surprise that was. I told him when I saw him, I said, Gregory, and you're listening right now, this was the best package I've seen you bring to date. Your conditioning was great. Your size was right up there with those guys. You really stood with them and looked like a professional up there today. Congratulations. I take my hat off to you.
Yeah, you got to really respect that. He brought a great package, and he deserved the placing, and he's only going to go up from here.
And you know what? He beat a great competitor, Troy Alves, who you and I felt the last 3 weeks we were seeing these update pictures. He looked really good. It was a shame that maybe he peaked too early, and he just couldn't hold it because he seemed to fade, and his conditioning wasn't quite as crisp. And I don't know, he just lacked something on stage.
It's hard to pinpoint it. He was just off. I think maybe he was just a little tired, peaked too early.
And like we said earlier on the prejudging wrap-up, I think the overlook of the show had to be Michael Liberatore. Dennis James, Bob Ciccarillo, a number of other guys came up to me and said that they just thought that this guy really got a raw deal. He not only did he not place top 5 or top 6, he placed out of the top 10.
Yeah, he got lost in the shuffle. It was his pro debut. Mike's just got to keep working, and he'll get his due.
The deal is now he wants to put 7 more pounds of muscle on and compete at the Sacramento Pro at the end of the year. Let's see if he can pull it off. Let's go on to the women's bodybuilding. Yaxani Oraquin redeems herself. She establishes at least that she's a dominant force in female bodybuilding. She beats a very good lineup, a very, very much improved Betty Parisa, and she's going to the Arnold with a lot of momentum against Iris Kyle. What do you think?
Yeah, we had 3 big girls, all in shape. It was a real battle for the top 3, but she deserved it. We picked it this morning. She's got a beautiful shape, former Olympia champ. She was a clear winner.
And she is a former Olympia champ, like you said, and a former Miss International. And she was very vehement when she talked to me about having sexy muscle. She said sexy muscle because she likes the curves, she likes the shapes. I think if her glutes come down another 3 to 4 pounds, I think when she gets on that Arnold stage, Iris is going to have trouble.
Yeah, she's got to get a little tighter to compete with Iris. I still don't know if she can. I mean, Iris at her best is almost it's Ronnie at his best.
Let's talk about second place, Betty Parisa, who is very happy with her placing, and she should be because it was her best conditioning to date. It was her best size and package to date. And you know what she said to me? I didn't do anything different. I always look good at 2 weeks out, and when I change all these things, I didn't change anything. She kept her salt in. She very took her water out just at the very end, and the result was a second place in a very competitive lineup that if Yaksani wasn't here, she easily would have won the show.
Yeah, I got to say, I think she was a little tighter last year. I mean, I think she can still tighten up a little bit for the Arnold. At the end of the year last year, she was really crisp in Atlantic City.
She was having some coloring problems. She said she was every shade of the rainbow until they finally got it right. It's probably, she's wondering why it's happening. I think it's because she's very pale before. She doesn't tan off season. And when you put those colors on with a pale skin, anything can happen.
Yeah, and it looked a little muddy this morning. I'm sure they did a rush fix job on it. But then she pulled it together tonight.
Well, congratulations to Betty Parisa. Third place has to be the surprise of the show. Zola Lindsey, even though we predicted it previously, this is her pro debut. I predicted it when she won the North American that she would be a very successful pro. She brought a phenomenal package of conditioning, size, symmetry, and she looked polished on stage. This is going to be a top 5 Olympian in the future. What did you think of her finishing?
She's an RX Muscle favorite. She's great on the board. She's got a lot of support, and she had the best legs up there. She needs to bring her back up a little bit, I think, to compete with Betty and to get that second place, but she's got all the tools there.
She's tall.
Yeah, well, yeah, she's got a huge frame on her.
And because she's so tall, she needs to put more muscle on her body. But if she keeps adding a little bit at a time to the right place, she's a very dangerous competitor in the future.
Yeah, but, quads, glutes, and hams, there's probably nobody in the Arnold stage that can touch her.
I agree with you 100%. Let's talk a little bit about figure and fitness, okay? Because fitness was a surprise. We had predicted possibly Angie Johnson winning. Julie Palmer comes out of nowhere, and well, not out of nowhere. She's a top 5 Olympia. She really hadn't competed that much in the last couple of years. She had been nursing an injury that she had sustained at the Arnold Classic last year, where she busted up a bunch of ligaments. She comes back here, she wins. This is tremendous momentum going into that Arnold Classic, especially considering the only person she's got to beat now is Adela Garcia.
Yeah, I got to be a little critical here. Her routine, I thought, was not in the top group. I thought Oksana Krishna had an amazing routine.
Unbelievable.
I thought she was the best, and I had Tanji in second. Julie does have a good physique. She was, top probably 2 in that, but I just don't think her routine was good enough for the win.
Interesting you say that, because she told me in the interview that this is not the routine she'll be using next week at the Arnold. She has a special Arnold routine, so maybe she was holding back and she didn't bring the best, but you know what? If she brings a better routine and Adela's a tad off, this could be a very close show in 2 weeks.
She can't hang with Adela. I mean, Adela would have to be way off there to beat that. That's she's Miss Olympia for a reason.
Let's talk about Angie Johnson, who was second place. I kind of felt bad for her because I thought she brought a tremendous body, great conditioning, great symmetry and size. I thought her routine was good. I think it could be a little better. Maybe for the Arnold, she'll step it up a little bit. What do you think was what happened?
I think, talked to her a little backstage. She needs to tighten up just a little bit, and she knows that. I think she's planning her peak for the Arnold. And, she said she just put her routine together like 2 weeks ago. So it's only going to get...
These 2 girls, I think Tangi and Julie jumped in the show at the last minute.
Yeah, I think with Tangi, I think she has fun kind of challenging herself to put it together at the last minute. But, with 2 weeks to go, that's a decent amount of time for a pro to, make those improvements.
Not when you're going up against a veteran like Julie.
Well, yeah, but they both have, improvements to make in the routine. It could go either way.
Let's talk about Mindy Smith. Undefeated, she wins the Sacramento Amateur Show. She does the National. She wins the overall there, gets her pro card. Her first pro show, Kim Odo puts her in there. She wins. This girl's on fire, man.
She really she blew the field away. It wasn't close in our eyes. She just has a great package. She's a beautiful girl, great proportions, perfect amount of muscle, condition. She's going to do some damage going forward.
Watch out for Mindy Smith at the Arnold Classic in 2 weeks. I predict great things from her. She could walk away with a victory there.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I haven't seen anybody in the past few months better.
That'll remain to be seen. The Phoenix show was a tremendous success. Congratulations to Melvin Yaksani, Mindy Smith, and of course Julie Palmer. We'll be down in Columbus, Ohio, 2 weeks from today to cover the Arnold Classic. For now, though, we're going to go eat. I'm Dave Palumbo with Big Sean Andros, rxmuscle.com.